Hello everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about the possibility that the Dwemer may make a reappearance in the Elder Scrolls 6 Hammerfell. And I'll explain why. First though, let's just cover the topic of how they got there. Now if you watched my Disappearance of the Dwemer you'll know this, but if you didn't, this is a catch-up. Clan Rauken were one of the groups that left Red Mountain due to political disagreements, and they moved to Hammerfell. This was long before the activation of the Numidium. Now when Kagrenak activated the Numidium many years later, he did so prematurely at the height of the Battle of Red Mountain, which made some believe that the Dwemer wiped themselves out. And me, I believe they might have wiped out some of their race, but not all of them. I think that some of them succeeded in ascending to Aetherius or wherever they went. Others got burnt up because the Numidium was activated prematurely. It caused them to disappear. They created their god. They disappeared into the heavens. But some of them burnt to death. That's my theory. Now in Mournhold, you had little piles of ash all over the ruins, Dwemer ruins, which is where I get these some of them burnt to death theory from. We also have the theory, well not theory, it's a fact that the last remaining dwarf was seen in the game Morrowind in one of the caves. I can't remember what they call it now. But he tells a story about questing in oblivion. So he was quite far away from Red Mountain. He survived. So the ones in Mournhold, which were basically across the water from Vanderfell, were burnt to ash. Whereas the ones in Oblivion survived completely. He managed to come back alive and tell his story. So distance did save him. But Hammerfell's some distance away, isn't it? Hammerfell isn't anywhere near Red Mountain. So isn't it possible that some Dwemer survived there? That's Pet Theory 1. Pet Theory 2 is the Numidium was activated for the second time in Daggerfell. Literally, it depended on the ending you chose, but either brought Mana Marco back, got rid of the cities that were enemy to the Emperor, just leaving the allied ones, or a number of other things. I mean, the Underking got his heart back. What do you think would happen when somebody activates the Dwemer god for the second time? The first time, maybe wiped out all the Dwemer, made them disappear. Maybe the second time brings them back. Maybe they've been existing under the earth or under Nairn ever since. It's a possibility. They call that, for those people that are familiar with Elder Scrolls lore, the Dragon's Break. It's when timelines changed in a blink of an eye, things that didn't exist suddenly were, and things that did exist became obsolete or disappeared. It changed the world, the local world anyway. So why not bring the Dwemer back at that point? I mean, it's still within a few hundred years of the current timeline, for Skyrim, and probably less than half an era, away from when it's activated the second time. So why not bring the Dwemer back at that point? Anyway, assuming they either survived, the activation of the Numidium the first time, or were brought back the second time, it's possible that we'll see between two, maybe a small group of Dwemer survive, or maybe a whole city survive in Hammerfell. And if that's the case, if for whatever reason the Dwemer are managing to be brought back even in small numbers in Hammerfell, can you see where that might go regarding the game and the plotline? For starters, imagine if you started the game in approaching a Dwemer ruin and you discovered they were alive in the opening sequences of the game. That would be very much like discovering a blade in Skyrim, after all those years. All the blades are wiped out, and then suddenly one confronts you. It'd be that kind of wow factor. Probably bigger because it's the Dwemer, and that's the biggest mystery of all. They wouldn't necessarily know what happened to them because they weren't anywhere near Red Mountain, but they would be Dwemer, and they would be working on their little toys. Now, there is talk of a Dwemer Airship, in Morrowind. So why not do a few favours to the Dwemer and they give you an airship, and that's how you manage to fast travel around the map using your airship. It would make it a very different game from normal fast travel. You just climb in your airship and then fly to where you want to go, like flying on a dragon. I think that'd be pretty cool. Of course, you've got mods now with Dwemer horses. Why not have Dwemer machines you could ride? I mean, the game supports it, providing it's based on a creature. Plus, we have the Elder Scrolls 6 coming out after Starfield. Starfield would have all kinds of flight mechanics because of spaceships. So it's distinctly possible. It won't just be you climb on a dragon and it automatically takes you somewhere. You might actually get to fly this airship. Or might actually get to do other things with machines. Because the code needed to do it would have been added for Starfield. And Elder Scrolls were made after Starfield. This is how the games develop. They add missing code in order to make it unique, so it isn't anything like the last game. So it comes in the right sequence Starfield and the Elder Scrolls. So if we get the Elder Scrolls out with all that spare code used for high-tech stuff, and here's the Dwemer reappearing in the Hammerfell, what can we do with the Dwemer, I wonder? I mean, there's a lot of things we could do, but you wouldn't even require many, would you? Just a small settlement with a few plans which allows you to build this airship or something like that yourself. Maybe it'd be a mobile player home, and it would literally follow you around. You could summon your home to your location and go there instantly. There's a lot of ideas here that you could use the Dwemer backstory to increase game features in the Elder Scrolls 6 Hammerfell. And you wouldn't need to bring back the whole Dwemer civilization to do it. Just a small group. Or maybe even have a section of the Dwemer community survive long enough to write up these plans before eventually dying out because there just wasn't enough of them to actually survive for long. So they might be the last Dwemer alive kind of background story before they disappeared completely. Either way, Clan Rorken did go to Hammerfell. That's part of the game lore. They did settle there. They did establish cities there. And as far as I know, we don't know what happened to them. So that's my pet theory. You let me know what you think. But I think there's a possibility at least that we may see the Dwemer return in the Elder Scrolls 6. And they may form an important part of the game when they do. You might even find it's a continuation of the old Numidium plotline and the Dwemer play an important part in defeating them. See you in the next one.